Warning: the following program may contain material not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Find a depth unknown, our voice begins to rise, breaking through the noise with fire in its eyes. The spirit of adventure burning ever bright. Hold on tight, travelers, it's gonna be alright. Another week burning, halfway to the end. Bonus Overdrive, my time at the tears ascend. Bonus Overdrive, a Wednesday night is here. Shatter the silence, conquer all your fear. Bonus Overdrive, the angels gonna scream. With Diego at the wheel, living out a dream.
It's time to find out with Diego. Let's go. Ooh, yeah.
On this episode of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, our guests are masters at transforming a unique, impactful vision into something real on screen. They work across sci-fi, family, horror, drama, action, and more. Their work is full of purpose and passion. The audience knows it and feels it. Together, they bring a wealth of experience in acting, filmmaking, creative design, and production. All this plus more. Please welcome our new friends and first-time guests, Mike and Arianna Fox from Crystal Fox Films. My friends, welcome to Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much.
Here, I appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate having you both of you on. It's a beautiful night for podcasting, and I feel we have a lot to talk about. And actually, this is our first time meeting each other. If you don't mind, for the listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, if you could introduce yourselves to the audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you first.
So hey everybody, I'm Arianna Fox. I am an author, motivational speaker, actress, voiceover actor, and book editor, and a whole lot more. Today I'll mostly be talking about voiceover and regular acting work, and particularly acting in his films, which is a perfect segue into the wonderful, illustrious Mike Fox.
Illustrious. Wow, okay.
Yes,
She's also, in particular, she's the lead actress for the film The Box in the Basement. But I am Mike Fox. I'm a director, actually a international multi-award-winning filmmaker, director, writer, producer, cinematographer, and video editor. I own a business along with my family for probably about 13 years now, and it's called Splash Design Works. And then, of course, we created, with the film aspect, we created Crystal Fox Films, and we're just super excited about that and all that we're doing. And yeah, that's kind of a little bit about us.
Well, it's more than a little bit. It's like a lifetime of experience and projects between both of you. My goodness. So, if you don't mind, we're going to take a time machine and go back in time. Instead of going forward in time, we're going to go back in time a little bit. And how this all began, because there's a lot of history here to cover. What got you into the entertainment industry? Because sometimes we do things before we get into our chosen careers or hobbies or side hustles, eventually turns into something great. What were both of you doing before filmmaking in the entertainment industry?
So, well, for me in particular, I've always loved the BTS, which is behind the scenes. So I've always loved how in the world did they make these movies. So, when I was a kid, I was just telling this to my wife and daughter just a few days, like last week. When I was a kid, of course, I grew up with the Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the good Star Wars. Anyways, and
Agreed. Yeah.
I didn't say anything. So, um, I remember I because I'm an artist and I design. I'm not a designer right back then, but I used to do graffiti and artistry and chalk, pastels, watercolor paints, whole nine yards. So I actually designed this 4x8 sheet of like space with the Millennium Falcon and X-wing and stuff like that, just and used it to, as whatever I had to work with as far as like filmmaking and stuff like that, back then. And so I got into some filmmaking things, but then life threw its curve. And for like 15 plus years, basically been in the design space. So everything, with splash design work. So, logos, websites, marketing, the whole nine yards. And then I would say about 2018-ish or so, um, our daughter, she was already an actress. And so I just needed to get some show reel put together for to add. I needed to get some footage for her, to get some show reel. And so I just started creating this, like, what was in my mind going to be like a, maybe a 2 to 3 minute max footage, and so it was, basically a sci-fi thing or whatever. And I don't know when, the very moment it hit me, but the bug of filmmaking hit me at that point all over again. And I started adding to this miniature storyline, and I'm like, what if we did this and we added this? And pretty soon it grew from this, like, just a show reel footage for Ari, to becoming like a sci-fi film short, and called Alien Survival. And basically, I put in all kind, like, HUD displays and special effects in it, and quite a bit of special effects of blood and, stuff like that. And it actually started winning awards because I was told to put it in the festival circuit. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm digging this, like, a lot. And just inside, it just started percolating, and pretty soon I started coming up with other, quote, film shorts. And the next was The Box in the Basement. And this film short started growing from like 10 minutes to 11 minutes to more and more and more and more and more and more. And pretty soon I had filmmaker friends say, you might as well make a feature film from this. And I'm just like, oh God, come on. Like Marty McFly, just
George,
George
sorry.
George McFly, George McFly, and it's just like, um, and then we started adding up the minutes and figured out, okay, so if we bring in these transition scenes and added some footage and blah, 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 we actually maybe can make this a feature film. And so I remember, like, being second day on set with The Box in the Basement, and there was like over 70 people on set. I had parents, I had young people, I had actors and actresses and crew members, and just, a bus and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, whoa. I was taken back. I was like, is this how Steven Spielberg felt like all the time? When he was younger, of course. And and so from then on, it's just been like, you know the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and stuff. I mean, even right now, you mentioned paranormal. I just finished wrapping a film short, and I just dropped the trailer, and it's a paranormal sci-fi horror thriller film called The Haunted. So, so yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I'm at. And your turn.
I mean, I've always been in it, in a way. I've been probably, I could say, part of the entertainment industry officially since 6 years old, having done voiceovers since then. So basically, officially 12 years. And I mean, it's always kind of been there because I've always loved acting, and we've kind of gotten, my parents kind of, found ways to get me into creative things and acting by seeing how I naturally kind of gravitated toward it. Voice acting was like the first thing for me that I really, really got into and got into professionally around six. I saw him doing voice work, and I was just looking in awe and amazement and thinking, I want to do this. And then what the funny story that I love telling people is that he was working at that time for a very small indie it's not a podcast, audio drama that had this character. The main character was this girl who got kidnapped, and he was playing her father. And he had these lines like, my daughter, I love you so much, I'll save you. And me being 6 years old and an only child, and that is important
I think
knowledge.
you were, You were
I
Man.
more
was,
than 6.
I was 6.
Were you?
Yeah, I'm
Can't
fairly
be,
certain.
can't be.
I am fairly certain I was around 6.
Oh.
But either way, around that time, I kind of was staring at him with my very young person knowledge and thinking, why why is someone else your daughter? I want to be your daughter. And he lovingly informed me that's not how the casting process works. But but he's like, what you can do is you can start submitting and start doing auditions on your own. And the funny sequel to this story that leaves it on a happy ending is that years later, with that very same audio drama, it got rebooted to be redone, and he added another character and got me to play his daughter. So after all those years, I finally got to do it. But that's something that I've always done. I've always loved voice acting, the creative space, and of course the entertainment industry in the idea and concept of it. Not as much always the
Audition.
industry itself and the people
People in the
involved
drama.
that we've learned over the years, but it's definitely the content is always fantastic, and it's something I've grown up with for sure.
Now, interesting. You mentioned the voice acting.
Yes.
Very challenging. A lot different than on-screen acting because, in a way, on-screen actors mostly using their own voice, or unless depending if maybe they're playing an alien or doing something that might change your voice a little bit. When you're auditioning or trying to, let's say, capture the spirit of a character,
Mm-hmm.
how many voices do you go through? Let's say character A. How many voices before you nail it down? Okay, that's the voice I'm going to use.
That's a really good question. I would say a question I haven't really been asked. It really depends. A lot of times I just immediately will look at the character. A lot of times if art helps, artwork, if they have art of the character, if they have a sort of idea of what they look like or how they act, or they have breakdowns. A lot of times voice acting projects already have breakdowns for the character, which will give me a good understanding as to how they are, how they react, how they act, how they respond, and their personality. And also, that it'll tell their past. So everybody's just like real people, characters' pasts and their backstories influence their decisions that they make today and how they'd respond to something today. Maybe somebody who has a more jaded past would be more sarcastic or cynical in their tone than somebody who is just carefree and bubbly. In that same way, all of those things kind of combine to usually let me have at least like a first idea of what I think that character would sound. I don't really usually go through a ton of voices to try to nail down the right one. It has happened, that's for sure. There have been characters that have been more difficult that I've had to go through at least like 5 or so different voice styles to be like, okay, that's it. That's what we're looking for. I remember one specifically that was a bird character. I had to do that with. But for the most part, especially if it's a kid, if it's somebody young, if it's a commercial voice, it's actually more along the lines of sticking to the same patterns that you use and just doing the same thing over and over, but in a unique way. But for video games, for audiobooks, you do have to kind of like strategize. Okay, especially audiobooks. If you are recording audiobooks, you are playing oftentimes all the characters therein, including the narrator. So you have to find ways to make them all sound different and unique. And a lot of times, one of the if 2 of the characters are the same age, same gender, same style of talking, then you have to go, how do I differentiate the voice style of this character from that one? So yeah, great question.
Yeah, even tonight, we were at a convention, Comic Con, and she did a lot of voiceover commercials for JAF,
Jaff Comics.
JAF Comics and Collectibles.
Yep.
Comic books, and so we got to meet some staff people from there.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, she did like 13 or so,
It just,
commercials for the company, kind of thing. So it was pretty cool.
it was
That
fun.
is pretty cool. Now, growing up, and I think Mike, you might be able to also relate to this. Sometimes we try to emulate some character to try to get close to the voices. I could do a pretty decent Donald Duck, and I'm a failure at the rest of these other voices. So if I'm gonna ask both of you if you could pick a character that you think you perfected the voice of, you don't have to do it right now, but which one's the first one you say nailed it? I got it.
Oh, it would be Mickey Mouse. Yes. Well, just gosh, swell. It's I would say Mickey Mouse and Yoda has been pretty much my primary top of the list. I've been called the best Yoda and the best Mickey Mouse, for years. I mean, right now my voice is, you know, you know.
He's done a lot of like work for like just various organizations. Like he did they had a Star Wars Day for a basketball game, and he got to do Yoda as the announcer.
Well,
Like,
it was, yeah, 2 years in a row.
yeah.
So, like it was totally fun because we came dressed as Jedi, and sat at the
course.
announcer's table. And then, of course, it was just the funnest part was, when the visiting team,
Yeah.
and they would miss, and it'd be, how embarrassing, and it's like, it was great, but a lot of times I'd actually be hired to do a Mickey Mouse voiceover, not just for pre-recorded but for live. And
Especially for like kids with terminal
so
illnesses and
yeah,
things like that.
they would purchase like Disney trips for these kids. And so it was really, it was really rewarding. But at times, when you're doing something live, you have no idea what these kids are
That
going to
requires more
say.
than just voice talent. That requires improvisation. That requires major improv.
I'm sorry, well,
I gotta go.
gotta go. Bye. What the heck are you talking about? It's like,
Yeah.
it's tricky. It's a lot easier when you're doing it in the studio and you're recording and you mess up a line and repeat. Oh, all right, here we go.
Oh, that's
That's normal. Like she does a ton of times. But when you're doing live, it's just like, what would Mickey? WWM. MD, what would Mickey do?
Yeah,
So
I've done a lot of live recorded sessions too, and it is nerve wracking being on with the director and being like, okay, so we want you to do it like this. No, that's not like it. I've actually done live recorded directing sessions in Spanish, and while I do have certificates of fluency in Spanish, I still taught myself and I learned online, and so it was very nerve wracking doing like actual live recorded sessions of the whole script being in Spanish. I'm just like, Espero que
I guarantee
hacerlo.
you, your Spanish is a lot better than mine. I've been spending a lot of years in the
Pues
mountains.
gracias, lo aprecio mucho. But like the I would say one of the best, I think, perfected things. I do accents. I love doing accents. It's my favorite thing ever. He's the impressionist guy. He can do any like known character with an already existing voice, and I flippin' love it. And I wish I could do it, but I'm not good at impressions. I am the accent person. So if you have an original character, then like I can totally come up with something new for them. My favorites are the British Isles. So anything like in England, of course your standard RP, received pronunciation, or of course the Cockney accent, right? The people that talk in the Hackney carriages and all the cabs and all that. And then of course one of my favorites, well actually two of my favorites, are the Celtic Isles too. So like Scottish is one of my absolute favorites. I love going around and just making people excited with all my Scottish accent. And the unfortunate thing is that people think that Irish and Scottish accents sound the same, especially here in America, and they sound completely different. After all, this sounds nothing like what I was just doing a minute ago. So it's like it was really fun it's always really fun to surprise and impress people. I also work part-time at a movie theater, and sometimes I forget I'm a voice actor until I'm reminded of it by the casual public. Somebody was coming up to me and said something in the line and said, oh right, or something, trying to be all fun, and I was like, right then, well, here's your all to miss, and just completely boggled her mind and forgot for a second that most people don't expect that out of their cashier. So it definitely is something fun. Yeah.
The Jedi training.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Jedi training.
Jedi training.
Yeah, well, we were in Disney some years ago, and so there was this, we were for Ari, we were doing a Jedi training. That's when they had a Jedi Academy and stuff like that
Exactly, yeah.
back in the day. And so there was a kid, he was dressed as a Jedi, and I told his mom, I said, add a little magic, to his day, right? The kid was probably about 7 years old, obviously going to be a Jedi, and I said, you want me to call as Yoda? And just give him some inspiration here. She goes, would you? Could you? I'm like, yes. So of course Yoda, I guess, uses cell phones too. So
Through the Force, many things can happen.
To the Force, Anakin. So it's like I called and I said, Jedi training you have today? Yes. Of course, she gave me his name. I forgot it. Kevin or
Logan
whatever.
or something.
Logan or something
Yeah.
like that. Logan, a Jedi you will be. Yes. The Force strong with you, yes. It's
And
like
he was like looking
he's
around,
just like
where are you, Yoda?
ready are you? Yes. For the trials. Hard work. Hard work. Yes. It's like and he's just like, So he add a little magic to somebody's day.
Yeah,
It
it's
was good.
rewarding.
It is rewarding. Yeah.
There's so much talent here, and I mean, you nailing the voices. And I'm gonna go a little bit off track here. Back in my day, before they had, I think even before they had Star 69 or caller IDs or cell phones,
Oh yeah.
we
Yeah.
used to do these impersonations of the Jerky Boys. I don't know if you remember them back then, Mike,
Jerky
but
boys. Jerky boys.
and all they did was just call people and harass them and using different voices like Saul Rosenberg and Frank Rizzo. At that point,
Nice.
and at that time, we nailed the voices pretty good, but we were working at a store, but we were making long distance phone calls,
Oh,
and we ran up that phone bill so bad that we didn't work there more. But I understand it's fun to do voices. Where am I going with this? I don't know. Just brought back a memory
Yeah, no,
from back
that's
in the
great.
day. So
nice.
we'll get into it because I just watched the trailer again for the box in the basement, and the listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, let's talk about. Let us know about where the idea of the box in the basement came from. Where did you pull the influences from? Is it something that just came quickly or developed over time?
So that started out, like I was saying before, as show reel.
Mhm.
So my first inception of idea for the box in the basement actually was going to be to get some footage of Ari with a fan blowing, and get some maybe slow motion, and have her be, some kind of like a mutant or something, and she's holding this glowing box kind of thing. And I mean, honestly, it's just like, that's how it works, even with our current movie Sleepers, which is on Apple Plus TV, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Fandango, Tubi. It's called Sleepers. That, I mean, just the ideas pop out of nowhere and just start to grow like
That
an
one has
alien.
an origin story.
Yeah, that one. If we get into it,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the origin story for that one too. But so for the box in the basement, that one started growing from, like, just wanting to get a few minutes of show reel of her, you know looking bad, but holding this glowing blue box, into what if the box had a purpose, what if there was parents. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, at least at that time, I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get some counterparts in this, not just a monologue. Let's get some counterparts. And so I opened it up as far as a casting call, just to get in some counterparts. Within like a matter of days, I had, and I kid you not, I had like 800 submissions.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, what the heck? Like, okay, there are people out there that just want to, you know work, and want to be on board a project. I mean, this is not I'm not funded by, by Lionsgate, not even a flea gate at this point, and 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 so it's like, okay, well, I mean, people are wanting to be on board, and so I brought the parents on board, and then I started thinking about who can be this main character, and the name Avery, and then what if she had a friend, that was, and then that's when I thought Amy. I mean, not Amy.
Well, that is the name of the
Is it
character, I think.
Amy?
Yeah.
Um, and all these other side characters, and then as I bring on board these characters, the story started growing into the sci-fi type of family-friendly film, and that's pretty much how it started and where it grew from there. And
Supposed to be a short film.
yeah, like
Yeah.
my wife was saying, it was supposed to be a film short, but again, one day we were, I had filmmaker friends say, Mike, you just need to make this into a feature film, and I'm just like, come on, man. We don't have the money for that. We don't have the time for that. And so me and my wife, we were just actually at the park walking around on just kind of like a daddy mommy date. And we were walking and we're like, so, I mean, what do you think about that? And we started adding up all the minutes of footage we actually did have. And that's when we started saying, okay,
It-
so we just need to add like this and this and this and this, some minutes. And it would be the minimum, feature length film, you know.
Mm.
Then what do we do? Distribution, but yeah. So that's how that came about. And then
Eh,
I was on board. I was able to onboard like so much talent. Let me put it this way: people donated the bus and locations, and I'm so proud of everybody on board. And we used a Causey Mansion, which is in Milford. It's like the coolest basement that looks the creepiest thing you've ever seen. They literally had stuff, weaponry from like the Middle Ages down there. They don't even know what it is and who used it. It's like, oh, that's so cool. So
I
you know.
remember you should explain the story of when all those folks were gathered for the time with the bus day, and all we had like 70 people there, and like it was one of our days where it was me and a lot of other classmates, and so it was a lot of kids and their parents, and so everybody was all there, so them and then like the crew that we had compiled and all that. It was one of the first times where we had like 70 to 80 people all just there in that area for the film. And I just remember, kind of looking back at him. We were just looking back, and it just he was struck with how massive this became, and how all these people, all these things, they're all there because of him and his idea and that passion for this film. And it's like, oh snap, man! Like that's wild. That's
It's
a
pretty
big,
wild.
yeah.
and with doing these scenes, and how long did you have to make the movie? Because I know with independent filmmaking, you have the advantage of time because you can probably take as long as you want to. But you give yourself deadlines. You got to meet these deadlines, right?
That's a trick question. I'll be honest with you. Um, Depending on the budget and what you have, it's most of the time it can be opposite of that because, like for example, even on the film short, The Haunted, we had to rent out. We had it just everything costs, and so we had to rent out the facilities, even the mansion, a different mansion that we use, which is amazing. But we have a time limit. And so we have, and that's really the actual reality. Unless you have a large budget and you can like scatter the time throughout the days kind of thing. When you're on an indie budget, then time and locations is always against you and not for you. And so you have to cram as much as you can in as little time as possible, you know and that's a mark of a good director, not just saying for like myself or anything, but anybody. And I know a lot of other people that a good director will do a lot of pre-production planning and not just try to wing it, because it's like when we used to go to Disney a lot. Like my wife would be like our resident Disney planning expert, and we would laugh hysterically at all the people that would say, "Well, we'll just figure out where we're going to go and what rides we're going to do when we get there." We're like, "Oh, that's great, man. Oh, get the popcorn." And it's just like, you can't do that. You'll ride two rides throughout the entire day and night if that's what you do. So it's the same kind of like, it's the same kind of methodology. You have to plan. I always say perspiration. What is it? Perspiration in preparation makes for inspiration in presentation. And the more you prepare in pre-prep, the less chaos happens on set. And so it's you can't what's the word, not overestimate, say enough, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't emphasize or
You
state it
can't
enough.
Yeah, I can't state it enough how important pre-production is
because
the process
even
for
though
filmmaking.
even though it is very true that plans often get thrown out the window on set and you have to end up improvising at certain points, you definitely still need that backbone, or else you're going to get absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, if you don't have a structure, and that's where a lot of indie filmmakers, I do what I can to help, but then everybody's got to learn on their own. Um, that the structure is it's like Captain Barbosa. They're more like guidelines than actual rules. Miss Swan. So it's like um you have to have your borders, where you're going to go and how far you can change it and things like that. But you have to have your navigation, your compass. We have our heading. Sorry.
How to tell we are voice actors? The amount of characters that we reference and impersonate
Yeah.
in answering your questions.
Who is a character? I'm not a character. I'm not a fictitious person at all. So
But no, I agree with the whole
absolutely.
thing. You got to have a plan. I
Yes.
despise chaos. And
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Even if it's 11% of a plan,
Better
a
than,
group would agree.
better than
So
10%.
I am group. What do you mean 10%? So it's like
But yes, I agree with you. I despise chaos as well, and you cannot do chaos on set. You
it, it can ruin a production.
Yeah.
It can ruin
1,000,000%.
and people are all connected like a family on set. And so if one thing happens that is not under control or brought into control, then it affects everybody, cast and crew. So it's important.
that it is. And speaking of cast and crew and talking about the characters in the movie, can you name some of the ones who play the parts and who's standing out right now? Because I saw the trailer, and I'm gonna start watching the movie here really soon. But who are some of the people who performed in the movie?
There's this girl. I think she played the lead. I don't know. Just
I don't know. Let's just
we
move
need to
on.
work. We need to work on that girl though.
Yeah, I think she was. I think she was very miscast. But
Ah.
the
So obviously Avery, Ari did a great job because she played the opposite of who she really is. She is like the most energetic, like impacting ADHD, you know,
yeah.
OCD person, that you can think of. Yeah, Avery's just this timid, I guess,
She's just depressed, the poor lass.
She's going through it.
But yeah, no, actually, so this is a little off topic. But while I'm thinking of it, one of the things that I really love is some of the topics and subjects that the box in the basement actually tackles and deals with. Just without spoiling much, I think it's really interesting to see how sometimes messaging can be a little too overt in movies, oftentimes a lot too much too overt. Movies can have too much of a message or an agenda or something they're trying to push or something to try to say, whether it's positive or negative. But in the box in the basement, I think that it does a great job tackling good mental health issues that definitely need to be tackled today without being specific about anything, but in a way where I think people need to hear what the box in the basement has to say. And I think that it's something that can help a lot of people, but without being preachy about it or over the top. So that was just something random. I know I was going to forget later if I didn't say it now. As for people and cast, let's see, because this is years ago. So
London and Madison Phillips were
yeah.
the bullies that turn into their friends at the very end and stuff. And we know them, we've known them since the box in the basement. They've been on other projects of mine as well.
Your brother PJ was in the movie too.
Yeah, PJ.
Mm-hmm.
That was before he sprouted to like 6 feet tall. So they did a fantastic job, and we appreciate them, and even their parents were in the box in the basement as silhouettes of their parents. You just saw their shapes, and as they got in trouble. But I think that they did a fantastic job, and huge shout outs to them. For their acting chops,
Also, another cast member that I really enjoyed working with was actually her debut role, was Nicole Biello. She played my future self, future Avery, and she did a great job, and she got to really grow in acting over the years, even past the Box in the Basement. But she always credits Box in the Basement to kind of like the beginnings of her acting career, and it's great to see her grow, and she's doing a great job. So very proud of her.
And then
Spencer too.
yeah,
Spencer Wate.
Spencer
He played
Wate.
my younger brother. That
He
man,
did a really good
I
job.
wanted to give him utmost shout out for having endured the most horrid heat ever, and other things. That man was a trooper. He was that.
Well, he was
that
a
young-
boy.
Yes, that young man.
Young
that young
man.
man was a
Yeah,
trooper.
lion.
I'm calling him.
Uh,
I'm calling him a man because that was.
He is now.
He endured
Um,
the
So
heat.
and steady.
Oh, Gary Tucker, of course.
Gary Tucker. I'll be
Oh,
honest with you. We
man.
just saw him like in Walmart the other day. Actually, me and my wife. Gary Tucker.
Mm,
He was Mr. Murphy.
really?
Mr.
Really?
Murphy. Mr. Murphy.
Hmm.
Yeah, teacher, Mr. Murphy. I think Murphy. And he did his homework
Yes, you did.
when he came on set.
Yes, you did.
I mean, like this is what actors are supposed to do. He showed what his passion in his craft as an actor was supposed to be. For everyone should be this way. And as a teacher, he came on set, and the dialogue that he had, talked about philosophy and Socrates.
Kierkegaard, and
But he started getting into, and he actually added to it.
Yep.
And he was writing on the board all these things, and the East and the West, and he started getting into comparing philosophies and philosophers, and so he added to it, and I was okay with that because he was just adding, and he knew what he was adding, so he could do it for every take.
Yep.
But the guy did his homework on these philosophers, and as a teacher, he came in there like he was just a teacher.
Yeah.
And he could have started anywhere in his dialogue and said, yes, this is what we're going to be learning today, students.
He really brought that went the extra mile to make his character authentic.
Was it the nacho guy? What's his name?
Isai Matias.
Isai, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
Oh my goodness, he is
yeah,
so
okay.
good.
So
I
you're talking
know,
about
I
memorable
talk about-
characters.
I know
So,
what I talk about.
so,
Oh my word.
so that was Mr. Murphy. One of the scenes that we added
Yeah.
to make it longer was actually one of our favorite scenes, and that's the Mexican restaurant scene. So, and a good friend of ours, he's been in many projects of ours as well, and that is Isai Matias. Matias. Yeah. So Isai, I mean, he is a talented actor. He is just a great person, great, like, workable actor. He has a very good range. But he came in there and he just nailed it as what was
Roberto Avery.
Robert.
Not Robert.
Not Robert.
You'll
Roberto.
understand most or all of the references when you watch The Box in the Basement, available now.
But he came in and he just nailed his role
Yes.
as the mentor, the big brother type of person.
One thing that I always hate in movies is when the mentor character is literally just there to be a mentor, and they're there just to be this wise person to whom the main character can go for advice. And I have seen it in movies and books way too much, where it's just so convenient that they're there, and there's no personality to them. They're just there to be wise and bestow advice that we wish we would have known from the first chapter, because then the main character would never have gotten into this mess. But in The Box in the Basement, one of the things that I really enjoy about the mentor character is that, number one, he's not old. He's not some wise sensei. He is just a guy that she knows, she's known for a long time, who owns this Mexican restaurant, who brings kind of a very cultured, grounded approach to life, in the sense that he knows a thing or two. He's been through a thing or two. He's been around the block. He's had his own time of relating to things that Avery has gone through. But at the same time, he's not going to live out this whole thing for her and tell her everything she needs to do. She's going to find that out on her own.
And he gives, and I wrote this, just I wrote it as he gave it and performed it as I wrote it,
Yeah.
and he was actually very impressed with what I wrote. But he gives illustrations in his own life of how
Yeah.
he thought he was doing this, but then it just didn't work out like it was supposed to. But throwing in some humor here and there,
Yes.
and not making it preachy.
Absolutely not. And
So
and naming absolutely no names, but let me just say I have read books where the mentor character has gone through the exact same thing as the main character and tells them that. My favorite thing about this situation is that he hasn't gone through the exact same thing as she has. He has not found some magical box, but he has gone through similar situations that he can give advice on.
So we got a lot of layers in the movie, and I'm
A lot
looking
of layers.
forward for the listeners to watch it actually. And I know that we're coming close to the end of this show, but let me ask you a few questions. I know not only are we coming close to the end of this show, but 2025 is almost done, and I know both of you so talented, very creative. You always got projects coming up. What do you have coming on now? What are you working on now?
so we're right now we're still pushing um, for viewership for our current feature film that's out there called Sleepers. uh, and it's about you can see what it's about. But again, it's on Apple Plus TV, it's on Amazon Prime, Tubi TV, Vudu, Fandango at Home, a few others, I believe, as well. And we really need that to keep pushing for viewership. You want to give a synopsis of it?
Yeah. So the main character Anya is a sleeper agent originally in Russia, who is sent to the U.S. to infiltrate for those who are unfamiliar with sleeper agents, basically as if they're American, they pretend like they are just any other person. They can be of any age, but that they are essentially sent to infiltrate, spy, and see what's going on and plant their own agendas.
And then to be activated
Exactly.
for destruction.
Precisely. So, Anya, we start off, with her in Russia, and then we see her go to America, and she's been fed lies herself by her superiors, by her overseers, and by the people involved that America is a place with the freedom that it touts is fake. It's a lie. That the people who are there, they say that they're family based, they say they're friends, but they're not. It's all a lie. And in truth, America is just meant to destroy everybody and destroy Russia and everything that she stands for. She ends up going over to America and meeting friends and being involved with an adoptive family and figuring things out and just living the normal American teenage life, which to us might seem boring, but to her seems freeing. She doesn't realize that those lies that she said that she has been told are lies are not in fact lies. They are truth and they are reality. So we have a lot of really, really wonderful combinations of genres. We have a bit of thriller. We have a lot of
Just
action.
real quick though, but so she's faced with the choice.
Well, I was
She's
gonna get to
faced
that.
she's faced with the choice whether she's going to fulfill her destiny as a sleeper agent, be activated,
Yeah.
and rain destruction,
Or defect and end up continuing life as an American.
some
And
genres.
yeah, there's a great combination of genres. We have a bit of thriller, a couple of little reminiscences of horror, and a lot of action, some great action all throughout. But also some drama and heartfelt moments and some really good veteran references as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were able to get like multiple stunt choreographers,
Yes,
special effects on screen. So there's a lot of fight scenes going on with with a lot of people. It was just amazing, amazing altogether. So That's what's currently. We just wrapped on the film short. This was co-sponsored by the state of Delaware, um, with a molecular-sized atomic atom quantum realm size grant.
Amoeba sized.
Amoeba, whatever. Yeah. So, but it was still something. And so we just wrapped with that. It's a film short. I'm hoping that we can somehow use this as a catapult or catalyst to get funding for a feature film. And if you've ever seen Night Swim or Three Smile movies that are out, like even those two things, and there's others out there, they all came from a film short. and before they were funded into a full feature budgeted film. And so this is called The Haunted. And so I just dropped the trailer, and I'm actually going to going to do an updated trailer very very soon here. But the trailer dropped. It was fantastic. And there it's paranormal sci-fi. It's based off a VR game actually, and you never really know if he's in or if he's not in it, kind of thing. So there's a lot of twists and turns. I can't just do like something simple, like
This is the curse of the creative, ladies and gentlemen.
it's a blessing
Yeah.
and a curse, man. I'm telling you, because people out here, especially in Delaware, they get some kind of little tiny, tiny grant to make a film short, sponsored by the state of Delaware, and they'll just go with their camera and go document stuff and say, here's a narrative that's with an agenda, and this is my movie, and everybody celebrates it, and it's just like, okay, yeah, well, okay. But me, I'm like, okay, I've got to have a company that you never know if they're an evil company or they're a good company.
I've
They're
got to
trying to
make a
help.
whole logo as he
I
does,
make
and
that.
a whole entire commercial
I made
as
a
he
commercial. If I don't know if you've seen Megan. Have you seen Megan, the first one?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, you have to. It's one of our favorites. But I remember when we first saw Megan, and this stuck with me. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm gonna use this one day. And when I loved it so much because when we first saw it and it started, because it's with Bloomhouse, after it started and the opening logos, then it went to this beautiful, happy, peppy, cheery, bubbly commercial for Perpetual Pets by Funko, the company Funko. And it was just, it was
Funky.
a perfect
Yeah.
funky. And it was just like this, Funki, and probably for fun kids.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's just and it's like perfect. You got these little fur animals, the perpetual pets,
Video styles, the
videos, the
music,
music, the
the kid actors they use,
yeah, and the parents and all this and stuff. And then it went straight into the movie. And I'm like, wait a minute, are we still
that commercial even had things for like now available on Google Play to have like the companion app,
companion app and stuff? And
it's
so I'm thinking like, wait a minute, did we start the movie or are we still watching a
previews, commercials,
movie commercial? And you understand that it's part of the movie. And I was like, oh, that is so dope. That is, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna do that for something. And so, because it looks like it's a commercial. It sounds like you got the music, you got the voiceover, hey, hey, or with Perpetual Pets, you know. And then I think it even had a little disclaimer.
Yeah. It did. About
like,
like
best,
toy. I don't. Yeah, it was some kind of like.
You can do the disclaimer stuff.
Yeah, but I don't remember what it said.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
But and then I did the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And so I created a commercial. Basically, I created a commercial for The Haunted, for the main company called Maerd Institute, the Maerd Institute, Maerd, Maerd, which is backwards for dream. And so, so there's, I mean, you talk about layers. I put in as much layers as I can. And I mentioned this today actually at the Comic-Con, but one of the producers on this The Haunted, he's a rising star in the Philly area. He's also an actor, but he's also a producer. He's also a composer. But he knew some people from companies in Southern California that do special effects, makeup, and masks and stuff for the Terrifier movies and big budgeted horror. And so he actually got custom and made and donated a monster mask, reticulating monster mask to use for this for the project.
Oh, so.
And it's awesome. So everybody did a bang up job, no drama on set, it was great, so.
So with all this going on, Where can the listeners find out more about you, your work, and where can we find out?
So, so the box in the basement, I guess, um, and I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure which platforms it's available on. He mentioned, I think, Fossum and something else. I'm hoping to see it on other platforms as soon as it can be on Tubi and all that. Sleepers is on all platforms. The Haunted, it's wrapped and it's in post production. It's gonna go through the festival circuits. Um, I've over the years I've won like I would say over 25 film festival awards. I've been a director, a film festival director, um, and one of the things I'm really excited and thankful about is that there's this filmmaking magazine called Pro Movie Maker, and it is the largest, most beautiful, by the way, no matter what. It's just the most beautiful because every page is like drool worthy with gear and film and equipment, and you're just like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, and I want that and that. Just give me everything. And it's just like it's just it's just amazing, beautiful magazine. But it's printed out of the UK, and um I actually won a double award as 2025 Filmmaker of the Year uh, for Pro Movie Maker magazine, and it was for um, two teasers that I have out that I'm looking for funding for. One is for Mia's Bridge, and that is a ready to pick up and ready to go feature film, and then the other is Loveday Brooke, which actually is starring her and her UK accent. And she did a great job with her UK accent because this magazine is published in the UK and they gave a award for the Loveday Brooke, which is like Lady Detective is what it is. So, so that was that was a blessing.
Now, where can people find stuff
So
about us?
so people can why thank you. So people can find out about us. Uh, crystalfoxfilms.com is our main film website. Director at crystalfoxfilms.com, 302 399 Social media, you can do either official Mike Fox or Crystal Fox Films. And then, of course, Ari, your turn with all your stuff.
Both of us are everywhere. I'm you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Twitter, what's Twitter?
I'm sorry, X. It's still Twitter to me. I'm sorry. It's always been Twitter. But no, I'd say all the profiles, all the places.
TikTok too.
Yeah. He likes to beat me up for that. I do not like TikTok, but it's okay. Arianna Fox, Arianna.
But on the socials, it's not Arianna
And
Fox.
well, it's either Arianna Fox or a Fox author. Like YouTube is Arianna Fox. So anyway, the other options are a Fox author. You can bet we're blast on set together. AFOX.
Not like Avery at all.
Author. AUTHOR, like a person who writes things.
Is that what that is?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm still figuring that one out. But I am an author. I'm also a boom operator. I kind of didn't mention my crew stuff, but I like when he was talking about The Haunted, I did play a role in that, but I mostly was doing both first AD work and boom operating, and those are my beloved things to do on set.
You're Dementity.
I am Dementity too. That is true. But I love the crew life. Very, very much. I love the crew culture, and I love working hard with a group of other people who are ready to work hard, and I share my hatred with my dad here of the diva mentality. We both we both if you leave your diva crown on the mat before you enter, please. So we definitely I think we have a reputation as Crystal Fox Films of having a good hard work mindset, especially him as a director. He has a great reputation among people, especially even people who had their debuts with him and with his films, and just say, wow, you were just such a warm and welcoming person to work with and not an overbearing director. You knew what you wanted, you had your vision, but at the same time let us improvise creatively. So all this to say, we're everywhere. Also, I was kind of tuned out. Did you mention Crystal Fox Films as well, or just you?
You were tuned
I
out.
was tuned out. Okay. Very cool. Crystal Fox Films is everywhere on social media.
Excellent. And I know one thing. We just scratched the surface.
That is true.
What you both are doing. So if you don't mind coming back in 2026,
Oh, please.
we'll get into it. I know there's more projects coming up. We'll talk about all of them, and love to have you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
All content on this broadcast is a property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster, or Bonus Overdrive Wednesday. The information shared on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.